Welcome back to the Fightfit Challenge, where everyday businessmen and women undertake the journey of a professional fight. All of the contestants train together over 8 grueling weeks and are then matched up by head trainer Paul Fifield and Fightfit owner Bashka Sinha, creating the safest environment for these guys to fight it out in front of 1,000 people. On our last episode, we had a heavyweight clash where we saw David Simons, the investment director at the Future Fund, take on Brendan Brown, the chef. It was a great fight, but Dave's evasiveness and quick hands saw him walk away with the win. On today's episode, we have our second female fight with the marketing strategist Jenna Cosgrove taking on the supply chain manager Jo Pitt.
Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. They're both big girls and they can hit hard.
Yeah.
And you don't often see that in girls, hitting girls.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for this. It's great to see such a change in Jenna. Jo, on the other hand, is a thinker.
Yes.
And she's always concentrating.
Yes.
Always wants to know what she can do.
Yep.
And I see her watching Jenna, and they don't want to pair up at training because they know they're going to fight each other.
Yep.
And I actually paired them up one day and said, "Do you want to go and pair up with Jenna?" And she goes, "No, not really." She didn't want to. She just would rather keep it separate and keep it serious, keep it business only.
Yep.
That's good. It's good. Touches. Yeah, when you watch them work the bag, you see them both stand long and throw hard punches. But you're right. When they spar,
Yep.
Jenna tends to move away and keep it long.
That's right.
Whereas Jo keeps to walk in.
That's
walks
right.
in aggressive, and sometimes she overdoes it.
Yes.
She finds herself too close.
Yep. The fact that they both can punch hard means that it can end at any time, which always adds a little bit of...
It makes it very exciting to watch.
Currently, Jenna is a marketing strategist at Strategic Anarchy, but at only 33, she has accomplished a lot in her life. She has trekked to the base camp at Everest, worked as a 000 operator, written a book, and now wants to try a professional fight.
For 4 years, I worked as a 000 call taker and dispatcher for fire brigade and ambulance services. It's a very fast-paced, very emotionally draining, intense environment. I just tend to be the kind of person who's quite calm under pressure. And the most rewarding thing was just knowing that you've helped people, not just help people, but help people in their hour of most distress and being able to get them through probably the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So I currently work as a marketing strategist at Strategic Anarchy, which is a sales and marketing consulting firm. So I spend most of my day writing ad copy, content for websites, doing a lot of other creative things, like putting together pictures and videos and strategizing with the rest of the team on future products and programs. Things I enjoy most about my work are being able to be really creative every day. I've written an historical fiction book, it's 89,000 words. I've been working on it for about 5 years. Boxing has been my favourite sport for a really long time. So for years before I ever started doing it myself. I think it's probably the most interesting of all sports. It's got this really beautiful dichotomy between being really brutal on one side, but on the other side, and there's also a science to it. So I decided to fight pretty much from the moment that I set foot in the gym. The idea of fighting was appealing to me just in that it's my favourite sport and I love doing it, and I just wanted to kind of take it to the next level. I think having trekked to Everest Base Camp is probably one of the best things I could have done to prepare for the fight without even knowing it. When training feels really hard, I know that I survived a lot worse than that, with a lot less oxygen. Experience as a 000 operator, the main thing that stays with you is the ability to be calm in all sorts of different situations, and people are screaming at you and there's chaos going on in your ears, that you can still do exactly what you know that you need to do and remember what that is and not just freeze up as soon as something weird happens. So I think that's one thing that will really help me.
Jo Pitt is originally from Birmingham in London and has travelled the world. Now settled in Melbourne, Jo works as a supply chain manager at Hoselock.
So I used to work for this company back in the UK, so Hoselock back in the UK. I came to Melbourne for a week. I was part of my travels, and then someone said, "Do you want to come back and live here?" And I was like, "Okay, why not?" We manufacture garden watering products in the UK and in France. My official job title is supply chain manager, but then I also look after customer services as well. I'm responsible for bringing the product from the UK, so the logistics and transport over to us here in Australia. We warehouse in Sydney and then we redistribute to retail across Australia. And so I organise that. And then stock holding, inventory. So it's just a mixture really of the things I'm good at, which are numbers and scheduling and the black and white stuff, but mixed with the people side of it. The thing I enjoy about Melbourne the most is the lifestyle it brings for me. It just feels like I said before, like I'm on my holiday all the time. Just trying to make the most of it sounds really cliche, but the most of life really, because why not? I really enjoy training at Fightfit. It just had a feel that I got from there that I didn't get from the other gyms, and again I think it's the social aspect, making friends. There were a few people that I clicked with and I got on with, and I enjoyed the trainers and what they did, and then obviously they had this challenge, which was something that I wanted to compete, but wasn't quite sure how I was going to because I wasn't. And then when they had this challenge, which anyone could get involved in, I thought, well, maybe this is the opportunity that I was looking for. I wanted to gain from the challenge. I wanted to know if I'd physically got it in me, because I trained and I love training and I enjoy the science behind the boxing, but I just wasn't sure if I'd actually got the fight in me.
Both girls have very different approaches to life, so stay with us to see how this affects the way they train for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Training for a professional fight tests all aspects of the self. You need to have the discipline, courage and determination to push the body and mind in each training session. For Jenna, this was quite an undertaking.
I have found training definitely challenging. I think I was expecting, obviously, it was going to be physically tough, but I wasn't expecting how emotionally tough it was going to be.
Go on his bun, do that on the fight night.
I tend to, when I don't pick things up straight away, or if I don't do things perfectly the first time, I get really frustrated with myself.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think she got a bit of a wake-up call when the training changed from normal personal training to it's time to fight.
It started off with Jenna looking like she's not going to be able to make it.
That's right.
But one day she came into training and she was a totally different person. Like totally different. I couldn't work it out.
Yep.
And she said, oh, Eric had a bit of a word to me. She's been doing a few PTs with Eric, so I had a chat to Eric and he said, oh, look, I got right up her.
Yep.
And I said, mate, you're being lazy, you've got the wrong attitude, you're being negative. And she just changed. It was like she just clicked her fingers and just changed. And
the switch just went off, and she just, yeah, absolutely. I remember exactly around the time when that happened. I remember you were making her do 200 burpees, and Eric walked past her, and she was sulking essentially. And then after that, I said, Eric, mate, what's going on there? And he said, I'll have a chat to her. And then ever since that conversation, you're absolutely right. Her attitude has completely changed.
I think she has probably shown the most improvement out of anyone that I've trained. So from the beginning to end, probably about 4 or 5 weeks in, she kind of snapped out of it, and it's just been better and better.
I'm impressed. You're much better in the ring than when you're on the bag and that. Much better, it's good.
She's very hard on herself. She's a bit of a perfectionist, I guess. Yeah, no one likes getting hit. So, she tends to, I think, when she gets hit, she gets quite angry and frustrated and thinks she made a mistake, but it's boxing. You hit someone, they hit you back. It just happens.
Yeah, you don't have to go all the way with the first one. If I know the reaction to it, you go, oh, just make it think. But it's got to be quick the second one, because they'll realise halfway through that they haven't thrown it. So it's got to be real quick, I get frustrated because they're playing the game too, It's all up here. Look.
Hardest part of training has, for me, just been learning how to push through the pain, of which there has been a considerable amount. So, yeah, it's difficult. It's like when you're in that much pain and you just want to stop, but you can't. There's been plenty of times, pretty much every session, where I felt like I haven't been able to continue. I kind of stop and I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and then 2 seconds later I just have to go back in and do it. It's not in me to quit, so I can't walk out of a session and I can't walk out of the challenge. It's just not who I am. When I push through the pain thresholds, I feel it's almost like there's just a new layer every time I do it, because it hasn't just happened once, it's happened many times, and it helps me to discover, I think, what I'm capable of as a person. So not just in training, but also in everyday life. It's just like a revealing of more strength every time I do it. My weaknesses are definitely that I'm over-emotional about everything. That could also be a strength as well, because I think if you lose your temper in the ring, but you know how to harness that in the right way, it can be very effective.
She's quite tall, she's got long arms, and she's got a really nice jab. If she uses it a lot, I think it's going to be very effective. Weaknesses, I'm just hoping that she won't give up. I think she'll definitely see red, and most likely when you see red and they are beginners, they will gas out, but it's just a question of whether they can push through that or not. And you always can, but it just comes down to mental strength.
Compared to Jenna, Joanna has not had the trials and tribulations that Jenna has had to face, but still her training has not been without its challenges.
Coping physically, okay. Mentally, okay too. It's just juggling everything else around it, I guess. The hardest part is really trying to fit everything in as well as a normal work life, because we're not professionals and this is not what we're doing full time.
So we've basically just been working on her trying to be unpredictable in her movement and her punch throwing. So she's hard to hit and hard to read when she's going to try and hit the other person, basically.
You had your times when you drew a few and you backed off a little bit, you know. When you're not quite right, that's the way you've got to go. And you might be not right on the day, you don't know. And even if you are right on the day, you can't keep going 100 miles an hour.
It's physically tough and mentally tough being hit and hitting somebody else, for sure, especially if you're not a natural aggressor, which I wouldn't consider myself a natural aggressor, but in a sporting environment I'm definitely competitive, and I'm fully aware that if you want to win a fight, you've got to hit harder than them and you've got to be able to be hit and not go home and cry about it. And probably once you've physically been hit those first few times and you realise that you can get hit and you're like, oh, that hurt, or that felt strange, and you're like, but I'm still here and I'm still okay. Once you've got over that, then it's okay, it makes it easier. So the sparring has definitely got easier as our training has progressed. Yeah, it's weird, I never really thought I would be okay with it, but I am okay with it. Seems like you have to be okay with it.
No, you throw your punches, you get out and have a rest. You know, don't get sucked into them calling you back, you know. Like what Jenna was trying to do the other day, remember? Jenna was saying, come to me.
Yeah.
You know, don't get sucked into that. You do what you want to do.
Yeah, like my fight.
Yeah.
She's moving a lot better, and I think her movement will be too good for her opponent. She's got a long sports background, so she's very competitive. So I don't think she'll ever give up. Even if she takes a few hard hits, she'll keep coming the whole 3 rounds.
I think a strength of mine is mental. I've noticed this in my training, is as much as it hurts, I use mind over matter. It might really, really hurt, but it's only going to hurt more if you don't go, because Paul's going to discipline us another way, or you're going to get hit in the face if you don't keep going. So.
Get that chin down when you come out of that weave.
Coming up next, we will see how the emotional Jenna copes with the very calm, focused and committed Joanna when they go head-to-head in the much-anticipated fight.
Tonight we're back at the Melbourne Pavilion and it's the females in action again, a middleweight contest between Jenna, the General Cosgrove, and Jo, the Birmingham Brawler Pitt. Bruce Eva with you, joined by the master trainer Paul Fifield. Here's what the girls had to say before entering centre ring.
At my work we have this saying that the body can't tell the difference between fear and excitement. So when you're feeling scared, you just act like it's excitement and go with that. So that's what I've chosen to do. So I'm just feeling excited.
I'm going to try and keep my cool, keep my nerves under control, because I think it's good to have nerves, but not too many. So just try and stay focused and concentrate on what I've been training to do and trust that I've done enough in my training to get the job done.
Australia versus England. Paul Fifield, what can we expect tonight between these two warriors?
It's been a very interesting build-up here, Bruce. Jenna Cosgrove started with next to nothing. You know, she didn't really know what she was doing, and her trainer Eric Diamondstein got into her one day, and she's changed. She's really changed, become very aggressive. Oh, there you go, Bruce. Look at that, straight out and straight into it.
Charged out across the ring did Jenna, who's in the t-shirt. Jo is in the singlet, and Jenna, a feisty character. Jo's not going to have to look far to find her tonight. She's going to be right in front of her.
Yeah, I heard Eric Diamondstein talking to Jenna and said, just walk forward, Jenna, just walk forward. And that's what she's doing now.
Jo looking a lot more relaxed in the shoulders, very mechanical, Jenna, but nice tight defence from both girls.
Yeah, Jo's got a very, very tight defence. Weaves a lot, although she does get very wide in her legs when she does weave, but her defence is quite tight and very hard to hit. Doesn't look so hard, but it is very hard to hit and quite evasive.
Plenty of leather being thrown, not a lot of telling blows from either girl as yet, and it's a good clean fight as well, with third person in centre ring, Jimmy Bolam, the veteran referee.
And Jenna Cosgrove doing what her trainer Eric Diamondstein's asked. She's walking forward and throwing those punches. That's their plan. Let's see if it's going to work for them tonight or not.
Just getting a little busier now. Jo's starting to let her hands go. The peekaboo defence there from Jenna Cosgrove, taking most of those punches on the gloves, although one, a straight right, got through right at the end of that exchange.
Yeah, as soon as you said, Bruce, that nothing's getting through, one or two always get through, don't they?
Good work rate.
Oh, it was a lovely right hand from Jenna Cosgrove, landed clean on the chin of Jo Pitt.
Clearly her best punch of this opening stanza. As we get towards the latter stages of it, and very strong jab thrown out by Jenna Cosgrove, but good defence from Jo Pitt, who ducks and weaves, keeps throwing on the counter.
Yeah, she's very good at that. She weaves and counters out with the left hook, does it all the time in training, and it's good to see she'll be able to do that in the fight this time. Sometimes it's very hard, Bruce, to do what you've been doing in training and then come and do it when you're fighting. And it's good to see these girls can actually do that.
Nothing can prepare yourself for an occasion like this. Capacity crowd, 1,000 people in attendance, and that is the end of the first round. Let's have a look at a couple of replays of some of the action between Jenna Cosgrove and Jo Pitt.
They're just feeling each other out. Weaving underneath, there's what I'll talk about there. Weaving underneath, your feet were in the right spot to be able to do a counter. Again, it weaves to the right to the body from Jo Pitt. Lovely tight defence with that left hand up high from both girls. Oh, there's the right hand that landed and countered with another right hand.
So round two about to get underway.
Do you think Jenna will come running out like she did last time? Yes, she does.
She does again. And for those wondering, yes, with that surname, she's related to our Governor-General, Jo Pitt, in the singlet, the Birmingham Brawler. And of course, Jenna Cosgrove does take the nickname the General. And they're exchanging furiously at the start of this second round. Jo Pitt probably got the best of it.
Yeah, it looks like Jenna Cosgrove is using the same game plan as she did for the first round, walking forward and punching. And lovely right hand from the top, lovely right hand from Jo Pitt, and a lean left from Jo. She's starting to land now a little bit, isn't she, Bruce?
Certainly finding a way through this tight peekaboo defence of Jenna Cosgrove. Goes to the body as well as Jo Pitt. Another scoring blow.
It's quite a technical fight, mate. It's quite a technical fight. That right hand from Jo Pitt is starting to land more often, though.
Jenna Cosgrove not being able to find a home for a lot of her punches. Plenty of good intent, stalking forward, but Jo Pitt very evasive and flexible in the hips. She can get low and then fires out that jab of her own, which again gets through, smacking the chops of Jenna Cosgrove.
Jo Pitt is starting to pick her shots a bit more now and starting to look for the little openings, and she's starting to land a bit more. But Jenna, she's still walking forward and still throwing punches. She's got to slow herself down a little bit, mate. I'd actually change her game plan and get her at a distance and start throwing her jab, because I know she's got a very nice long jab and can punch from a distance very well. And I'd change her game plan and get her back out there.
Excellent work rate from both girls as well. It's been non-stop action. There's been no clinching or holding. Neither really blowing hard either. So a testament to their fitness coming into this fight. Closing stages of the second round. And Jo Pitt, cheeky, clubbing little right hand there, bounces off the left side of Jenna Cosgrove's head.
Yeah, she does throw a right hook, which is a bit of a rare punch. Jo Pitt does there. She's trying again and again. She throws the right hooks quite a lot.
And that's the end of the second round, separated by referee Jim Boland. He's the best of the action of round two.
Now watch the evasive skills of Jo Pitt here. Weaves a lot, gets away, counters, throw different punches. There's that lean left there. Weaves underneath, counters. Beautiful defence. Hasn't even got caught yet. Catching. Oh, mate, the skill level here is very good for first time. It's very, very good. Round three, Bruce.
Sensational technical analysis there from Paul Fightfield. And both girls have been taught well, and they're executing as well in centre ring tonight at the Melbourne Pavilion. Third and final round, and Jo Pitt starts a lot faster in this round. Cosgrove again comes forward, but Jo Pitt, and she was caught, Jo Pitt, on that occasion. Good jolting right hand from Jenna.
Yeah, that's very rare. That right hand caught her very clean that time. Jo's usually got their left hand up really high. So good work from Jenna Cosgrove. Beautiful work. Lovely long right hand. And I think she should be staying at a longer. So use that reach of hers and throw the punches from out there, just like that.
She has got the height and reach advantage, just marginally. Jo Pitt, though, continues to be an elusive target. And
she does. She's very elusive, mate. Lots of weaves. Jenna should be starting to throw a few uppercuts there because she's going down low. Like, throw the uppercuts every time she drops down to weave.
Some good rights there in that exchange from Jo. And again, on the counter.
Oh, mate, good combinations from both girls. Giving it their all in this last round. They know it's the last chance and they're giving it their all. As you say, it's their grand final.
And Jim Boland just warning Jenna for hitting behind the head. And as the crowd roars their approval. Another great right hand from Jo.
Yeah, she's throwing some good, strong punches, Jo. I feel she's starting to tire. She's starting to, mouth starting to get open. You can see that, Bruce. She's starting to keep her mouth open now. It's a good sign of being tired. Looking for that every little bit of oxygen to get into your lungs.
A bit loose in the knees, breathing heavily. Well picked up, Paul. Although Jenna really can't capitalise it at the moment. She needs to let her hands go. Jo is tiring. Both girls, in fact, are tired. As you'd expect, Jo's still keeping her rival off her.
Yeah, Jenna definitely wants this. She keeps walking forward, mate. She keeps walking forward, throwing those punches. Jo's on her back foot now, isn't she? But no, as you say, no punches are really landing clean.
Just single punches from Jo, no real combinations. Jenna still in her face, right on her chest. And a wild left hook from Jenna. It was almost the last punch of the fight. And what a great 6 minutes of action we've seen again between Jenna, the General Cosgrove, and Jo, the Birmingham Brawler Pitt.
Oh, that was a great fight. I'm so proud, Jenna Cosgrove. From where she came, she's come so far. So proud of her.
We have a unanimous decision. Judge Anthony Hibbs had 30-27, Peter Flaherty 29-28, Henry Nissen 30-28. Unanimous points winner, blue corner, Joanne Pitt.
That's probably the highest level of adrenaline I've ever experienced. So it was the result I wanted. It was hard work and it wasn't easy. Jenna put up a really good fight and made me work for it. But I'm really pleased that I got it. Really pleased.
What a high-skilled fight and great performance by these two girls, both not leaving anything behind. Join us next time as we have a blockbuster fight between the anaesthetist Michael Boquist and the mechanic all the way from Liverpool in the UK, Neil Standish. If you would like to compete in the Fightfit Challenge or just get fit and have fun, call 1300 Fightfit or go to fightfit.com.au. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Fightfit Challenge.